It's pretty amazing. But let's talk about Costa Rica real quick. Costa Rican economy contracted by about 2% in 2009. They really didn't feel the impact as bad as Mexico or anybody else. It was pretty sheltered from it. They have high value added goods and services, including microchips, and have further bolstered their exports. Tourism continues to bring in foreign exchange as Costa Rica's impressive biodiversity makes it a key destination for ecotourism. They're really into preserving the environment. They really appeal to that part of the American. And if a lot of the, we talk about generational differences, a lot of the younger realtors that I meet that are that YPN group, that Young Professionals Network, they vacation to Costa Rica is where they go. It's affordable, it appeals to their eco thing, you know, the green piece of it. I have a 21-year-old, I know what I'm talking, believe me. But I mean, it appeals to them, and so it's attracting that younger generation that is just now entering the workforce, but may have those expendable funds here pretty soon. Foreign investors remain attracted by the country's political stability. They're pretty stable, and they have a high education level. So it's a little bit more sophisticated group in terms of how the transaction is conducted, in terms of how business is, you know, facilitated overall. And it has attracted one of the highest levels of foreign direct investment per capita in Latin America. Costa Rica is really the bright spot in Central America. So if you haven't looked at it and really look at it, there's some areas, let me see if I've got it up on the screen. Well, unlike most of the Central America, Costa Rica is not highly dependent on remittances, and only about 2% of their GDP make up for remittances. So they have, and that's reflected in terms of the educational level that you have there. You have people who are more sophisticated, and so the dependency on remittances from the U.S. isn't really there. But let me go back to this area. One of the areas that you want to look at that's really hot is this area right here. There was a lot of development that took place, and it's slowed significantly. And it's right along this beautiful area here. But it's got a lot of the forest and a lot of the rainforest and things like that. But a lot of investors are looking at that right now because the values decreased significantly, just in that one area. And there's a huge influx of investor interest and stuff like that. So if you're looking at Costa Rica, look at that northwestern part of the country. Look at that already. Let's talk about Brazil. Doesn't usually come to people's mind in terms of investment for foreign investors, but I tell you what, it is a hot spot for investors. And it's only about a 2.5-hour flight from Houston. It's not that far. So it's pretty close. So if we look at Brazil, after a record growth in 2007 and 2008, the onset of global financial crisis hit Brazil in September of 2008. It wasn't that bad, though. Brazil's currency and its stock market saw huge swings, and foreign investors pulled out of Brazil. I think a lot of foreign investors panicked when everybody else started collapsing and thought Brazil was going to follow suit. Brazil didn't.